please welcome with me to the 700 Club Canada, the founders of the Canadian International Faith and Family Film Festival, both Jason and Rafael. Wow, so good to see you guys.
Thanks for having us.
You know, we know a lot about TIFF, but we haven't heard a lot about CIFF. And I really believe that you guys are onto something, and this is a tsunami. It is really huge because media is such a powerful tool in our generation. How did you get involved in this, and how did you guys come together?
Well, Jason and I have known each other as performers. We're union performers, and we're union producers of the Canadian Media Producers Association, as well as ACTRA, the Alliance of Canadian Radio and Television Artists.
Yes.
So we met on the set of Flashpoint, and worked our way through that.
I remember Flashpoint.
Yeah. We had wigs on. We're doubling the drivers.
Okay.
And we worked on Murdoch Mysteries as well as a few other shows, and we had a lot in common.
Yeah.
And then we finally got together and made a film called Adam's Testament.
Yes.
And that's a faith-based supernatural drama. And we tried to get the film out there, but we realized how difficult it is to get a faith film out there. And by traveling the film festival circuit and the conference circuit in the US, we saw that these films never really get shown. So we decided to get together and see how we could put a film festival together in Toronto. It was much needed.
Yeah.
So CIFF, the Canadian International Faith and Family Film Festival, sprung up.
There were so many festivals that are like genre, like horror or like, you know, animation, geared towards one particular thing, and we didn't really fit in. So we wanted something not just for our faith, but for family members, because we're both family members and we both have children. So we wanted to open the doors to everybody, where it's like you don't have to leave the kids at home. They're welcome. Everyone's welcome.
Beautiful. You know, and I see it as such a refreshing tool right now, because when you look at the mountains of culture, you see media, but also you see government, banking, education, you know, in the areas of where we spend our time, but we spend most of our time in media. Now, where did you find that faith in your life, Jason? Where did that start?
Well, I kind of always had my faith. I felt like God's presence was always with me, and I always felt like I had a sort of guardian angel. But then I sort of went away from that for a while, and God was kind of in the distance. He was always there, but sort of in the distance.
Sort of on nodding terms.
Yeah, waiting for me to come back. And I was sort of exploring and trying to find my way through the secular film and TV world, which is a lot to do with the vanity and the I. So you always think you're creating your future and you're manifesting, but you really aren't.
Yeah.
So then when I met my wife, and she took me to a Pentecostal church and just opened my eyes again. It was when a friend of mine turned and said, God's been waiting for you for 20 years. And I just hit me like a ton of bricks. I knew he was speaking to me.
Yeah.
Even though it was my friend speaking, I knew it was God.
Yeah.
And that's when I just came back. It was like, welcome home, prodigal son.
Yes.
You know, it's like the intimate relationship came back, but deeper than I've ever imagined.
You know, that's so beautiful, because I know there's a lot of women right there that just said, woo! And, you know, there's hope for my husband, you know, because so many times we wonder, you know, what is it going to take in all of this? But you're saying it was one of those moments that I was brought to church, but it was the word that opened up my mind and my heart to Jesus. Yes. What about yourself, Rafael?
Well, the journey for me started back when I was younger, back in high school. I grew up a Catholic, but I didn't know what a relationship with Jesus was. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine, Ralph Jalal, took me out to the Evangel Church in Montreal, and I was blown away.
Yeah.
I joined a youth group. I found fellowship. I was born again, and it was incredible. So we started our own Bible studies in high school.
Yeah.
And from there, I studied theater and film and television. I lost my way, like many people do. And I came to know Christ by doing the film that we recently did, Adam's Testament. I did a lot of Bible research and study. You know, I felt like God was always with me. However, I was lost for a very long time.
Yeah.
And by doing the film, that was the pinnacle where things changed for me. In post-production of the film,
Wow.
I came to a place where I didn't know who I was anymore. I felt I couldn't provide as a father and a husband. I came to an ultimate low of wanting to commit suicide. And that all changed for me when I found Christ that night again. Once again, You know, he knocked me down on my knees, and I found him once again, and everything's changed since then.
Well, you know what? I know that people see the glory, but they don't know the story. And that, when we're talking about CIFF and how this is important for faith right now to be a part of others' experience, is that really the inspiration that has caused you guys to become so absolutely determined to make this happen?
I think so. I more so than anything else. We want to reach out to youth groups and young adult groups, be it Catholic or Baptist or any denomination. We're realizing youth groups are shrinking. Some areas of the church are growing. However, the youth are not really connecting with the church. So we're reaching out, and we want them to be involved. We're working with the Canadian Bible Society. We're working with Artists in Christian Testimony, which is our charity. And we're developing a public service announcement program where we could get youth groups involved.
Now, this is exciting. So when you look at the festival, what do you envision? And tell us, how far along are you in? And where are we going to be able to connect in with this? Because I know you've got a lot of people on the edge of their seat now.
Well, we're at year 2 now, so this is September 14th, 15th, and 16th at Innis Town Hall, University of Toronto, year 2. And we've already surpassed the submissions from last year. Last year we had about 110 submissions. Now we're about 150. We're going to hit 200 submissions from around the world in 17 countries.
Wow.
So we're at kifflix.ca.
Okay.
And people can come to our website and follow the progress and when we're going to be announcing the films, which should be probably
End of August.
End of August. We'll be announcing the lineup for this year.
And we'll get a chance to get a sneak peek at what's taking place around the world and in faith films and family. And what's your vision and hope? Because, you know, when I saw you guys praying with each other as brothers, I said, man, it reminded me of the disciples of old. Sends them out. Jesus sent them out 2 by 2 to become fishers of men. And now you're just really fishing in a whole environment of media and where it's so needed now. This is, I believe, such a very important need.
We're the Scouts.
Yes, you are the Scouts. What's your hope and what's your vision for this?
Well, the Canadian International Faith and Family Film Festival is a place where we could gather and celebrate our faith and Jesus Christ. So really our vision is to bring as many youth and young adults to this festival so we could get people together, because it's so much more than just a festival.
Yeah.
We have panels and workshops and seminars, and we have an awards show afterwards and different contests throughout the weekend. So, so we're envisioning this being the largest faith and family film festival in Canada.
And we want to give a platform to some films that you may never see. A documentary about, say, a couple saving a village in a foreign country, you know, bringing Jesus and God and the Word to some places in the world that have never experienced this. And these are actually films that are exhibited at our festival.
You know, when you start talking about that, because there seems to be a greater sensitivity. We see the Apostle of Paul, we see, you know, the Passion of Christ and so many other movies that have been groundbreakers. Is this happening now in Canada where people are, like yourselves, are creating projects like this that are now getting the attention of the world?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's one film at a time, and it birthed out of a need for our own film called Adam's Testament because we didn't have a platform. So that was part of the idea. We wanted to have films like this have a voice. And the film Let There Be Light, Kevin Sorbo's film, was the kind of premiere at our festival that won Best Picture. And that was another film that just really got out there around the world. Great message.
This has not been without struggle. Because, you know, the struggle, we develop strength. And you both smile on that because there's been a cost to this as well. And how can we come into agreement and pray with you and pray for you? Because I believe that this needs no prayer, no power, some power, much prayer, much power.
Well, you could go to our website, www.kifflix.com or .ca, and you can look at all the things that we have to offer. Come and join us. Come out to the festival, enjoy a movie, see a panel, see a seminar. You could really support us that way. And your prayers are welcome. Prayers are very welcome. We know the power of prayer, and Jason and I pray with our families every day. Yeah. And our message really is, if you're out there and you'd like to get involved in media, or you want to be a volunteer, then reach out to us. We're going to try to do everything we can to help you.
We're growing the kingdom in God's name, and who are we to say who's not invited, right? In God's kingdom. So our doors are open.
Well, you know, I feel like this is a refreshing, an opportunity to see the Great Commission in a greater way. And I want to thank you.
Thank you,
you
my
so
friend.
much, Jason. Thank you,
Thanks for your
Rafael. And that is the Film Festival, Faith and Family Film Festival. You can get more information on our website, 1-855-759-0700. And please continue to pray for them and with them.